Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
Well, it all started with his ring. Hello everyone, Zafri here with another video, and this time I'm gonna be teaching you on how to safely execute a full Maraudon run. I've added timestamps to the description down below to help you navigate the video. Without further ado, let's begin. If I were to describe Maraudon, it's a long-ass dungeon, but it also contains tons of amazing gear for every class, including the highly sought-out melee previs, the Blackstone Ring. There's also Focal Inventor Sword, Gemshard Heart, Phytoskin Spaulders, Gator by Axe, and many more. The bad news? A full Maraudon run usually takes 2 to 3 hours depending on your group. The good news? You only have to do it once. You see, the very reason why you want to do a full Maraudon is to obtain the Scepter of Celebras. You can use this item to skip to Earthsong Falls, the middle part of the dungeon where most of the good loot can be found. Here comes the glaring question. What level should you be in Maraudon? As I've said in my previous guides, you'll want to be within 2 to 3 levels of the final boss. I'd like to warn you, however, that the main boss, Princess Theradras, who is level 51, hits really hard and can even one-shot Clothes. She also has a couple of important mechanics, so the closer your level is to her, I'd say the safer it can get. Personally, I even brought level 45 to 46 Rogue and Warrior friends to Maraudon to help them get Trash Blades sooner. At the end of the day, it's your call. You're an adult after all. To get to Maraudon, fly to Desolus and travel to the Valley of Spears. Follow the path from the entrance as shown in the footage here. Eventually, you'll reach a crossroads with glowing orange crystals on the right and purple ones to your left. The most common way to clear Maraudon is to enter the orange side and clear the entire dungeon from there. However, I'll be teaching you a faster route while also avoiding some of the most dangerous packs in the instance. Alright, start heading down the orange side. When you come across a centaur named Kavindra chilling in her own jacuzzi, pick up the quest Legends of Maraudon from her. This will reward you with the Scepter of Celebras. While you're at it, fill up your coated cerulean vial at this orange pool if you're in the quest Vyletongue Corruption. The third Khan for the quest Pariah's Instruction can be seen patrolling this area. Use the Amulet of Spirits on him to turn him hostile and loot the quest item from his corpse. And here we are at the orange entrance to Maraudon. Let's get this full Maraudon run started. Follow this route after entering the dungeon. This should lead you up until the second boss, Razorlash. The route here is pretty straightforward, but I'd like to note a couple of mobs. First is this pack of creeping sludge that look like jellos I used to binge on as a kid. They emit a pulsating AoE attack at close range. It can get problematic for your healer with a melee heavy comp and everyone taking damage. Fortunately, they move so slow you can just kite them from a distance. Unfortunately, our group here consisted of 3 melees, so we just had our mage kite them while we watched helplessly from a distance. As you go, keep an eye out for one of these little plants here. It may not show any gear icon or target indicators when mousing over it, but if you use the filled cerulean vial near it, it will turn into a big flower and a couple of elementals will spawn. Kill these elementals and your whole group will get credit for healing one plant for the Vyletongue Corruption quest. When you get to this section with the larvas, you or one of your teammates must click on this tube here to prevent any more larvae from spawning. And as usual, AoE them down. Next are these constricted vine and barb lasher packs. Don't be fooled by these harmless looking plants. They have high armor and health, hits decently hard, can root you, and even knock you down. Things could easily go south if you underestimate them. You've now reached the first boss, Noxxion. This should be a basic fight. It can cast a poison spell and knock its target back. When its health reaches a certain threshold, it splits into multiple versions of itself. AoE this mini Noxxions down and it will return to its original body to resume the fight. Also, this boss is immune to frost spells, so mages take note. Don't forget to loot the item Celebrian Rod for the Legends of Maraudon quest. Keep following the path, but be cautious as there will be more lashers and a couple of central patrols along the way. Eventually, you'll reach the second boss, Razorlash. This gigantic plant monster can cleave, so the tank should face it away from the group. Likewise, melee DPS should watch out if they're being cleaved and reposition accordingly. Razorlash does a puncture ability that's essentially just a variant of Rend. So it's a dot, but it's nothing too crazy that your healer can't handle. After this fight, you'll normally want to keep going down the path you're taking, right? Even Wowhead says so. But a better option would be to run it back towards the entrance and continue from the purple side. Why? Not only will you save time skipping several packs, but you'll also avoid running across the most dangerous pack in the dungeon. I'll show you later, but for now, just run it back. So here we are at the crossroads once again. Luckily, the purple entrance knows how to respect people's time and isn't too far away. Before we go inside, the second Khan can be found in the area below. Here's a quick clip of where my group found him. Tada! Once you're inside, skip down here and kill the pack in front of you. By the way, here's the route you'll be taking from this side. Then go straight ahead beneath the bridge. It's pretty straightforward from this point towards the next boss. This section is filled with warrior and rogue type satyr mobs, so stay on your toes as there will be stealthed satyrs that can take you by surprise. At some point, you will run across the fourth Khan strolling down your path. You'll also encounter treants that uses war stumps and roots. I don't recommend skipping mobs in this area. You'll find the third boss, Lord Vyletongue, in this room with the pink lights. Clear the pack to the left and the two stealthed satyrs in his room before you engage him. 2 adds will spawn with Lord Vyletongue. He can use multi-shot and auto-shot, so everyone should ideally stack together at melee range. But of course, you don't really have the luxury of being this organized with Pog, so just burn him down and then the adds. He will also cast Blink from time to time. Make sure you loot the quest item Celebrian Diamond from him. Keep moving forward and you'll notice the scenery begin to change. You've finally reached the Poison Falls. You'll encounter more creeping sludges, slimes, and cave-in lurkers, but nothing too scary. Once you reach this area, jump down the waterfalls, hug the left wall, and ignore the mobs to the right. Now you've reached the fourth boss, Celebras. Sadly for my group, we missed the fifth Khan earlier who typically patrols at the beginning of the orange side. This means we have to go back, but this time, we'll have to pass through the deadly pack I mentioned earlier. This is what I'm talking about. If you follow the route in this guide, you won't ever have to come across this pack. But if you're curious as to how deadly it can get, here's what happened to Kush HC and his group. Anyway, you can typically find the fifth Khan at the start of the orange entrance. My group just got a bit unlucky here that we had to walk all the way back to the entrance just to find him.
Interrupt.
Now it's time to fight Celebras. He's a druid type boss who's surrounded by a couple of adds. He doesn't do anything special except spam wrath like the degen that he is. Burn him down, stay on top of your interrupts, and this should be a walk in the park. Talk to Celebras, who's now a changed man after his browsing history got exposed and turned in Legends of Maraudon. He'll pull out his notebook of San Andreas cheat codes to spawn your teleportation scepter. And yes, he will perform this long-ass RP for every single party member who needs the scepter. Buckle up. Once you're all done with your business with Celebras, Just follow the path straight ahead and jump down the huge waterfall. Oh, you're still around? That means you're still alive then. Good job! The lush green environment with its signature moss and ferns clinging to cavernous formations tell you that you're at Earthsong Falls. The next 4 bosses from this point onwards make up the core of princess runs often seen in LFG. This is also where the Scepter of Celebras teleports you to. To get to the portal room, just proceed straight ahead into the middle path at the crossroads to the orange and purple sides. You'll also find the first scan here if you need his gem. Click on the scepter to summon the portal anytime. Now back to Maraudon, here's the path you're gonna follow. This will typically be the route every time you do a princess run with a group. I know what you're thinking. Zaf, what the heck is this? And I can't blame you. It is indeed confusing, so I'll just show you the way with actual footage as we go along. The first mob I'd like to bring up are these hydras that patrol the entrance. Luckily, the area is pretty spacious that you can just avoid them completely. But if you do get to fight them, remember they can knock you back, worst case scenario, into a pack. Next are these dinosaur-like creatures called Dimetrodons. They cast an AoE silence that affects everyone in melee range around them. Casters, especially healers, must keep their distance. Ranged DPS, give your tank at least 5 seconds to get aggro before popping off your AoEs because if you rip threat, the Dimetrodons will come to you and there's a chance your healer will get silenced. Be very careful with this pack right here. A patrol of stone guardians might come around while fighting them. The safest strat would be to wait for the path before you move forward. However, if you do get caught fighting the Dimetrodons as you can see here, ask your rogue to cast Distract on the path while you burn down the current adds. If you don't have a rogue, the tank should slowly backpedal together with the team. In the worst case scenario that you get caught fighting both, rest in peace. Just kidding. Use your big cooldowns, Blade Fury, AoE taunt, stuff like that, big buttons, because you don't want to take chances. Turn left when you reach a fork in the road. There will be 2 patrols in this area, a stone giant and another group of stone guardians. I suggest marking them. These primordial behemoths are fairly easy to deal with when they're alone. Fighting 2, however, healers should anticipate a decent amount of incoming damage since they deal AoE to melees. Go up the path to your right to reach the first boss, Landslide. Landslide is basically an evolved version of the primordial behemoth. Tank it inside the cave with your back against the wall. That's because it can knock people off the ledge when positioned poorly. At some point during the fight, it'll stun everybody and summon small adds. Take note this mechanic also resets threat so the tank may need to taunt it back. Just keep burning the boss and the adds will eventually despawn when it dies. Head straight down the path. On your way to the princess, there'll be a patrol to watch out for. Mark them as usual. Watch this marked patrol here. They will path until this point and then head back. You don't want them getting into the fray while fighting these 2 stone giants, right? The best play here is to simply wait. Be patient, my friend. Unless of course you feel confident you can burst the 2 giants down. See? Here they come. Time for the main event. Also, don't ask me why. I know the game has let us down, but it's pretty obvious that not all princesses are created the same. Jokes aside, Princess Celebras isn't that hard if you know what you're doing. If you're a warrior, gather rage on one of the turtles on the side. Since she casts a group-wide fear called Repulsive Gaze, Fear Ward, Tremor Totem, Berserker's Rage, and similar abilities are extremely useful here. I won't sugarcoat it. She hits hard, and I've seen her one-shot clothies, so don't take your chances. Her biggest mechanic is Dust Field, or what I like to call Fart. The Fart not only pushes you back, but also deals significant damage to anybody in melee range, so stay back for a bit and charge in when it's over. But here's the twist. She resets all threat whenever she farts. This means that there's a chance your healer will be on top of the threat table due to healing aggro or a ranged DPS doing damage. That's why the tank should immediately taunt her back. If taunt resists, hunters can kite her with cheetah, mages can ice block, rogues can use evasion tanking. Just make sure to press something and not stand still. You're done with the hard part. Turn in the quest Corruption of Earth and Seed to the big centaur that appears in the middle. Now, jump off the bridge to the waters down below. Shamans, please don't troll and put water walking on your teammates if you don't want this to happen. Anyway, watch out for the large monster lurking these waters. Meet Rotgrip, your friendly neighborhood crocodile. Make sure to pull him without any extra ads. Like Princess, he hits hard and deals a nasty combo of bleeds that can mess up your tank. I recommend using a shield on this one. And if possible, healers, make sure to keep healing your tank even after the fight is over. Finally, just one more boss left. Swim across the water towards the little cave out there. Once you reach land, turn right and follow a straight path from here. Keep an eye out for the 3 stone guardian patrols. The third patrol could sometimes come up while you're fighting the boss. It's up to you whether to wait or engage the boss and quickly burn him down before the path arrives like what happened here. Now, this last boss, Tinkerer Gizlak, is pretty easy. There's nothing really insane about him except that he does a fire frontal attack, so tanks, face him away from your group. And also, he can cast a fear on beasts such as hunter pets or druids in cat or bear form. Watch out for this as the fear could sometimes run the target into another pack of Dimitridons. Hooray! You've finally conquered Maraudon. That was one heck of an adventure, eh? I'm glad you could make it out alive. If you need more help with dungeons, check out my channel for my Uldaman and Zul'Farrak hardcore guides. If this guide has helped you in some way or you've enjoyed the video, please consider leaving a like and subscribe. A lot of thought, blood, and sweat, I'm just kidding actually, has been poured into making this guide, and your simple act of kindness will definitely help me push to make better content in the future. Thanks for watching!